Hello everyone and welcome to Skincare with Hyram. I am so excited for today's video because I have a very special guest. I have never featured this type of guest before and I'm so freaking stoked. Uninterrupted time of geeking out over skincare. I am here with Aveeno scientist Sabrina Henry to answer some of your guys' most pressing questions about skincare. Thank you so much, Sabrina, for coming on. It's really an honor to have you on my channel.
Oh, thank you so much, Hyram, for having me on your channel. Just want to put a plug in for the Aveeno team. We love you. We love the channel. And I'm more than happy to sit with you today. So thank you, because skincare is one of my favorite things to talk about.
It's so cool that we're able to do this because it's so hard to get a scientist viewpoint when it comes to skincare products. And I've talked about Aveeno products so many times on my channel. Like the Calm and Restore line is literally I've mentioned it in multiple favorites videos. I just love the products and I think the philosophy is really cool. And so being able to sit down and ask you not only some questions that I have, but questions that you guys, the audience, submitted to us, I'm really excited because you guys, this is a really special opportunity where we get to hear from the source of knowledge herself. So before we dive into the questions, I'd love to hear a little bit about your background, what made you first fall in love with skincare and how it kind of shaped your career path?
Sure, that's an awesome question. So my love for skincare my love for the beauty industry really came while I was studying in college, chemical engineering. So as a student, I already knew that I wanted more than a traditional career. For me at the time, it wasn't as exciting and appealing. I was like, no, there's something else there that I can pursue and go for. So it came to my first internship where I actually interned with a leading consumer packaged goods company. I was working on hair care products and I was like, Hyram, this is for me. All of this magic goes down in the industry about this. And I immediately fell in love with the industry and hair care products. My next internship, obviously, after that was with Johnson & Johnson Consumer Health, where I worked within their research and development organization. And that's when it was history by then for me. I knew that I wanted to apply my degree and make these skincare and hair care products. And since 2009, I've worked across baby care, hair care, and of course, as you know, we're here, skincare.
Yes.
And you've actually used some of the products I've worked on, Complex Restore, and
yes,
I even got to live in another country and actually get my global hat on and really experience what skincare is. So I lived in France, and today, as an R&D manager for Aveeno, I get to lead a team of scientists to drive innovation end to end.
Oh, I love it. That's so cool. What an incredible opportunity that you were able to really find your passion, purpose within cosmetics and specifically skincare, and that you've been able to accomplish so much and grow so much. I relate to the purpose and the passion driving, skincare. Because for me, I really discovered my passion for skincare, not only from the scientific, analytical perspective of what are the ingredients and how do these things mix together and make a totally unique texture, but also similarly, and I'd say even more so, the impact it can have on not only someone's skin and the health of their skin, but their confidence and just the way that they go throughout the world and the way that they view themselves. I get continually inspired by it from just the constant innovation and new ingredients and new technology and knowledge. And that's why I love being able to connect with you and other scientists as well and just pick your brain apart, because I'm I want to know all the details. So thank you, for taking time to come on. I'm really excited to jump into the questions that a lot of my followers have asked, and then selfishly, some of the questions that I want to ask. Let's jump into the questions. So my first question that I have is, what do you think matters more, ingredients or formulation? And I'll give a little perspective on what exactly I mean by that. I'm definitely someone who stresses the importance of looking at an ingredient list, knowing what ingredients are in your products. But I think there's a large conversation around how much a formulation, once you combine a bunch of ingredients together and depending on the concentrations, how much is in there, what it's blended with, the technology behind that can completely change the relationship your skin has to certain ingredients. So what do you think matters more, the individual ingredients or the overall formulation?
From my perspective as a scientist, I honestly would say both matter. And here's why. So we already talked about how ingredients are the building blocks to the formula. So I can't even have a formula without being very selective on the ingredients that I'm picking, right? The ones that are going to do the job. So then once I select those key ingredients, my stars, of what I call in the formula, then it comes back to me to say, what is the best way that I can deliver this to Hyram? So I do think that you need both. You cannot have one without the other. So that would be my perspective there.
That's such an eloquent response, and I think exactly what I've seen so many other scientists, chemists, and people in the industry talk about. They're equally as important because it's like building a house. You can have all the materials, like you absolutely need the concrete, you absolutely need the rebar and the bricks and all of that, but those on their own,
Exactly.
they aren't going to make a house. You need to actually have, the contractor expertise in order to make the house to be a fully functioning house. But you can't have one without the other, I've always thought about it that way when it comes to skincare ingredients and formulation. And I love that response because I think it can help us understand as consumers that there is variables when it comes to the relationship between ingredients and formulation, then it's not just an ingredient game, but it really does also come down to how a product is formulated. Next question, which one of you guys asked, and I find this, I'm really interested to hear your response. What is the most underrated ingredient or category of ingredients in your opinion?
My favorite, or one that I feel is underrated, is glycerin. So I know most of you, if you have a moisturizer, you may flip the back, you'll see it. It's a common ingredient, but I feel like it's underrated. It's going to draw water from the air, it attracts it, and then it binds it to your skin, the surface of your skin, to just keep it hydrated and moisturized. It may sound simple as how I say, but it really is a great ingredient to use and why it's so commonly used for moisturizers. But I would love to see it come front and center, like called out. But I think it's one of the underrated ones that really do a good work.
I love that because glycerin, and anyone who's watched my videos, I call out glycerin all the time because you can find it in so many products. But I do think it's very interesting because there's even, and this is a tangent that I won't follow, but I think it is underrated in a sense because there's a lot of focus on hyaluronic acid and sodium hyaluronate and all these other ingredients, which are amazing. But I think the benefit of glycerin is the very low potential for sensitivity and irritation for anyone who has, compromised skin. And it just works well in so many formulas and with so many people's skin. So I love that. And the good news is that for anyone watching, you can find glycerin in so many products. The next question, which I thought this was really insightful, that one of you guys asked as well. Does your race or skin color affect how you react to certain skincare ingredients?
Studies have shown that consumers across different ethnic backgrounds have, their responses are different, right? But I think it really stems not so much on the skincare ingredients and their reaction, but really their skin concerns and conditions, right? We know that it's been studied and it's still continuing to be a point that's studied, right? What are the variations between different skin types, right, of different ethnic groups? And it varies, right? You can find different groups are more susceptible to sensitivity, or like the Black and brown communities, eczema may be more prevalent in certain age groups than others. Moisturization, right, the retention of moisture, even across the region of your body, face and or your legs, varies across different ethnic groups. So I think it stems, when we think about the reaction to skin ingredients, take one step back and it goes to what are the skin conditions that a certain ethnic group may have prevalence to or may face, which is why they may have a certain reaction to a certain skin ingredient.
That's super interesting to hear. I love hearing that response because that's something I don't see enough of a conversation being had. And I think there's also a large conversation to be had around kind of a more systemic issue, I guess, within the skincare industry of certain, groups, their access to certain types of products or who is being marketed what. I talk all the time on my channel about how anyone who's watching who's Black or a person of color or has darker skin tones absolutely needs to wear sunscreen. Sun protection needs that. It's critical. So long they have been underrepresented, not, educated on that or not marketed that. With what you were saying, great response. I love that. I was so curious about that one too. So thank you guys for asking. First, the question I have is, and you kind of answered this before, so you don't have to get too deep into it, but I was genuinely curious, when you're shopping for a product as a cosmetic scientist, what are the first things that you look for before making a purchase with your knowledge of everything that goes into the product? What are the first things you look for?
I love that question, actually. And it's a good one because I think, me as a shopper, of course, I'm going to be more critical. So I flip the back of the package so I can take a look at the ingredient list. But for the most part, team, after I've gone through, I know what maybe skin condition or concern I'm looking for. When I'm looking at the ingredients, I'm looking at what are the moisturizing ingredients, right? I do like using natural ingredients. So for me, if I see oat, if I see shea butter, I know from a scientific perspective how they work. I do pay attention to preservative systems, right? What is being used. And then if it's a cleanser that I'm looking for, that's one of my main areas. I look at the cleansing agents that are in there, right? Again, around the same lens, around sustainability, around mildness, around technologies, right? Those are some of the high level things that I take a look at. So I'm staying in trend on top of things and then I'm also taking notes, right? I'm like, oh, I haven't used that blend or that new ingredient it's new. So then I go check it out.
It's the constant learning.
Yes, it is.
Constant exposure to new things.
You wouldn't
That's
believe,
the thing I love
right?
about skincare space.
I'm learning even when I go to the shelf, right? Like, I mean, sometimes I pay attention, right, to our, magazine articles and what's happening in industry. But for me, the simplistic way is being a shopper, going to the shelf.
I love that insider scoop. So I'm such a fan and nerd when it comes to learning about the science of skincare and how ingredients are selected and used in products. And if I want to ask, if you had to pick a favorite skincare ingredient, like a singular one, what would it be and why?
Oh, you're just throwing out all the questions I love. So I, like you, I love the science of ingredients. And one of my favorite ingredients is shea butter. So for a few reasons here. So one, obviously, my family's from the Caribbean, so that connection with, the use of shea, and also friends who are from Africa, right? The African shea tree. It's so dynamic. I can use it, formulate it, put it in an emulsion, like a lotion product, or even cleansers, depending on the type of cleanser, or I could just use it directly. It's immediate. I think out of all the certain types of ingredients, moisturizers, when you think about it, this one's a great what we call emollient because it really impacts instantly on the surface of your skin, right? For me, that's why I like it, because it's just dynamic. It does a lot of things without too much effort, right?
I love that. Shea butter is such an incredible ingredient. And honestly, that funnels into the next question perfectly, because one of your guys' questions that you asked was, what are the best ingredients to look for in products now that winter is coming? And I would say my personal recommendation would be shea butter. I assume you would recommend the same as well.
Yes, I would. So that, plus we already talked, glycerin is another one to look into your arsenal of ingredients that are in your moisturizers, especially for the winter months when your skin tends to be drier. Definitely, as I always remind people that the seasons, right, they change, but also your skin. It's dynamic. It's the largest organ in your body. It's constantly changing. So I like the fact that, Hyram, you're bringing up the winter season, because you bring in the component that, hey, the season's changing. I need to check out what's in the arsenal of skincare products that I have. So those are my two go-tos that I think would, at a bare minimum, if you have them in your products, you're good to go.
So I have another question, and this is something I personally I wouldn't say struggle with, but it's just something I experience, like a skin concern that I have. So I have KP, which Keratos pilaris, which is the rough, bumpy skin that I personally get on the back of my arms, and it's it's not. It's not end of the world type situation, but it is something I've had pretty much my whole life that is always really tricky to get rid of. So I wanted to ask you, what ingredients or products do you recommend for treating the specific KP rough, bumpy skin concerns?
Well, sure. That's a great one. The first of which, and again, it's just, I may be biased to it, but oat at 100%, it's the flour. It's such a multifunctional and multi-benefit ingredient. Again, you may eat it for breakfast. You may, make your overnight oatmeal. But just the same as you can eat it, you can also apply it into your skincare. And the reason is because it helps alleviate dryness. It's a moisturizer. It also helps to balance pH of your skin. And in the case of anyone, including you and even myself, I actually have that as well sometimes. And for those of us who suffer with KP, in the winter times, that's our month. Where we'll get to experience that, right? But what's great about it is we have, as a brand team, we have the insight, right? We have the history, we have the scientific expertise with using oat and how to use it properly. And we've specifically now just released, hot off the presses, so hopefully Hyram has it and you all have it too, but hot off the presses, 2 new products within our portfolio specifically addressing rough and bumpy skin. And with the new line,
go.
wait for it, it's called Tone and Texture. The lotion, it's called Daily Renewing Lotion. So you can use it for the daytime, right? And it has some of the key ingredients that Hyram and I were already talking about. It's a lightweight moisturizer for you to use daily and really to help take care of that rough and bumpy skin you may have. But we didn't stop there. So the second one we have is a gentle renewing night cream. For this one now, we have the lotion for the day and this one's for overnight use. So it really kind of takes care of while you're sleeping, it's doing the job. Those are some of the two products you guys can kind of expect.
I've actually been able to try both of these products, and I really love like the difference in formulation. That one is like more lightweight, the other one is like a richer consistency, and specifically for overnight use, because when it comes to like anything overnight, whether it's the face or body, I love lathering myself up with really thick creams, and I honestly recommend it to everyone because your skin just needs that overnight. But one of the ingredients that I love in the nighttime formula is gluconolactone, such a good ingredient for exfoliation, but you're getting that more like intense experience overnight while also making sure that you're taking care of it during the day with the more lightweight formula. I like that there's kind of the two solutions, because me personally speaking, with trying to treat KP, you have to stay on it. You have to be really consistent. So it's good that there's both kind of solutions. But I'd love for you to like get into the ingredients of both of these products.
And it's great that you pointed out the intentionality, right? We were very thoughtful in keeping the consumer in mind, right? What is the most suitable format for the day opposed to the night, right? So with that, we're also thinking about the ingredients. So across the line, we have provitamin B3, so AKA niacinamide. Great ingredient, right? It's in both the products. It's used and is known to help, right? Even skin tone. If you have unevenness, especially around the rough and bumpy areas that we may have with KP, it's going to do the job to help brighten that area. Also, provitamin B3 also helps to defend against discoloration, and that's related to the properties provitamin B3 have with the combating against anti-inflammation. So, which is great. Another you've already kind of alluded to, so we've seen obviously a growth in having PHAs, and in our products we have one of which is a polyhydroxy acid, so that's PHA for those of you who don't know. We have gluconolactone, so it's natural. And I know it's a tongue twister to say polyhydroxy acid, so go ahead and say PHA, but it's a great gentle hydrating exfoliator, right? So even if you have sensitive skin, you have KP, it helps to kind of remove some of that buildup that's there that really leads to that rough and bumpy. It's going to help to improve it, right? Little by little over time, whether you're using the day product or the evening product, it's slowly alleviating that rough, bumpy feeling that you have. So, and you'll even be able to visibly see, right? It's going to be smooth and right where you need it to be. And last but surely not least, one of the other stars of the show is oat. And in this case, it's prebiotic oat.
One of the ingredients that you talked about, niacinamide, I always talk about on my channel, is my favorite ingredient ever. I don't know if you've seen this. Let me show you real quick. I have, oh my gosh, my jacket is like stuck. I have on my arm the molecular structure for niacinamide tattooed on there.
Yes, that's
it's so
cool.
funny.
You love the science. The structure is right there.
Exactly. I'm like, I may have barely passed chemistry, but when it comes to skincare and chemistry, I'm all about it. For these ingredients in the formula, it's a really cool mixture, because one of the things with Aveeno products, and where I feel like I've always been able to consistently recommend them, is very gentle, simple formulas that get the job done, that that are well accessible to people with more sensitized or irritated skin, but not as much focus on like the actives, which is where I also have a lot of interest too. So I love that these ingredients are focused on kind of giving those like active benefits to help with specific concerns like rough, bumpy skin. But it's also just like a cool mixture, because all those ingredients that you talked about, I personally am a huge fan of them. I think they're all super cool. So for both of these products, you'd recommend one for the daytime, one for the nighttime. These are like recommended for the body?
Yes, they are recommended for the body. And of course, obviously, since it is specific, to help those who do have KP, you do use them accordingly to the areas that you are experiencing the rough bumpy skin, the daily lotion to be used during the day, the tone and texture cream to be used overnight.
Okay, super cool. That's amazing. Thank you for going into details about, the products and the ingredients and answering like all the questions. I just love how informative this is, and it's, such a fun opportunity for me just to like get the inside scoop on all this. But I think, with everything that you said, it's so important to understand what ingredients and products can do for your skin in a much, easier and digestible way to understand. And I think you did that in such a good way. And like walking away from this video, I'm like, okay, definitely understand that oat is the goat, and that all these ingredients are just, it's important to know about ingredients. And thank you for breaking them down and explaining them.
Yeah, no, of course. And Hyram, it reminds me before, as we've been through this conversation and we probably wrap up, to talk about how Aveeno's recently launched our hashtag Proudly Sensitive Skin Sweepstakes. I know that I'm excited about it. I've already chatted about it previously to some of our industry reps, and so we have a lot of buzz out there, but we really are encouraging people. We have our skincare warriors, right? So be proud about whatever state the skin is in, and we recognize that sensitive skin, it's a state. So so I want to ask you kind of what drew you to working with Aveeno on this specific sweepstakes, and can you remind your amazing audience how they can enter if they haven't done so already?
Yeah, for sure, absolutely. So I love that Aveeno is showcasing sensitive skin in a positive light, because for so long the conversation around sensitive skin has been one of kind of like negativity or like a lack of solutions or lack of accessibility. And that's one of the main reasons I started creating content on my channel, was to recommend products to people who have sensitized skin that aren't able to, go out and just shop for anything and have to be very minimal and selective about what they're choosing. It's like the philosophy is exactly what drives my channel. And so I love that they are, shining a positive light on that. And I think it's cool that Aveeno is giving a platform to those who do have, are proud about having sensitive skin, by sharing their stories on social media, and just to build a stronger sense of community with anyone who does have sensitive skin. From now until December 15th, you can share it's hashtag ProudlySensitiveSkin stories in a social media post on Instagram or TikTok for your chance to win a virtual mentoring session with yours truly and Sabrina. I'm super excited. Like, if you guys enter and you are able to show like your sensitive skin journey, what you experience, how you're proud, to have sensitive skin and to own it, and really showcasing that on social media. I'm super excited about it. Make sure you guys enter. You can show your, skincare routine or what sensitive skin means to you. And I'll put all the entry instructions in the description box below, so you guys know exactly how to enter. I definitely recommend jumping on this sweepstakes opportunity, because I would really love for Sabrina and I to be able to meet one of you guys.
Yeah, I mean, we're super excited. I know that I'm excited, and I love the fact, Hyram, you reminded your audience, right? They're warriors. It's a level of vulnerability, but you have such a great community that you've already built, and like they're building it even further. So definitely, we're excited as a brand team about the sweepstakes. So definitely go ahead, hashtag Proudly Sensitive Skin. Share your stories. You could be changing someone's perspective on how they look at their skin. And as Hyram mentioned, your entries may be even featured on Aveeno social media channels. Come on over and check us out. Hashtag ProudlySensitiveSkin.
Thank you so much for like being a part of that, and for Aveeno creating this campaign. I think it's really, really cool. And more than anything, thank you so much for coming on the channel to answer all of these questions, like sharing just your expertise. It's been really insightful. I'm taking virtual notes literally as you're talking about all this. But yeah, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much, Hyram. I can't tell you how I appreciated you having me on your channel. I hope you all walked away with something you learned new, whether it was about how to take care of your skin, learn more about your skin, love your skin. You got this, and we're a community. Hope to see you guys soon. And thank you again, Hyram. And I appreciate it.
Of course. Yeah. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. Bye.